Rolling 14 wind 190 at 5 for takeoff. Lighting my first takeoff on full.
People like you, organizations like RampCheck, I love you guys.
You are clear for takeoff runway 21 left. Winds are called. Stand by for the retrans on uniform. It's showtime.
You taking a sip there, brother?
Maybe I'll start a new tradition.
No.
Oh, wow.
Please not.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the RampCheck Aviation Podcast live stream. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
What's up,
and
brother?
Ryan is noticeably missing. I just wanted to point that out.
And
he had another thing going on tonight, so no Ryan tonight. But hey, we've got a pretty awesome guest though, but we'll get to that in a second.
It's gonna be a fun podcast. Returning guest, so we're very, very happy to have him. Just before we get started, I wanted to just wish everybody a happy Veterans Day.
Oh my God, dude! You'd think the F-35 JPO office, you would think that they would stay away from AI. There are literally millions and millions of photos of F-35 out there that you could use.
It just, oh my God, it just
That's
drives
a
me
rough one, man.
It drives me absolutely bonkers. I mean, that's just the state of the current administration. I must say.
Yeah, I don't know. Hey, they got the flag. They got the little flag ribbon right though, so that's good.
Well, yeah, but actually, no, they didn't, because for this particular aircraft, it should be just a solid red flag with a yellow star.
Well, that's not even the that's not even the Chinese J-35.
Well,
that's actually if you typed into AI Chat GPT and said, show me a picture of an F-35 from the front side, and then boom, there you go. It's like, yeah. Anyway, because it is funny. It does look like a J-35, which China just came out with. There you go. Twin engine.
So I just wanted to kind of show here. Let me click on the actual picture here so we can. There we go.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
there you go.
Wow. I
know. Well, and they even named it J-35, and we kind of covered this last week.
Just go ahead and say that you stole all the plans without saying you stole all the plans.
China is asshole.
Anyway, whatever.
It's the F-35 if you ordered it from Wish. There you go.
So Wadman checks in. It's about time he returned. Hey, don't give it away yet. Well, the title.
What's up, Wadman? How are you?
How you doing, brother? Good to see you. AvGeek Joe. Oh, WTF. It's time to make the F-35 JPO great again.
Yes, you are so right, Joe. You're so right.
Wow.
It's funny. They took down that post probably maybe 20 minutes or an hour after they posted it.
Yeah. Too late.
I mean, everybody was just like, oh my God, how embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. Let's see here. Can't blame this on Sir Joe Biden. Rest his soul.
Yeah. JPO office is a little far from the White House.
Yeah, but still, just to.
But anyway.
Yeah. All I can say is Doge.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. No more AI. But anyway. Okay. Cool. All right. Well.
Hey, it's a live
else?
show every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. When we say every Wednesday night, take it with a grain of salt. But we're trying. Damn it, we're gonna get it.
Wednesdays.
Yes. Anyway,
I was way off.
Okay, never mind. But wow. So there's a lot of crazy stories in the news. And I wanted to cover a couple of them, but I think our most important thing is to get to our special guest. What do you think? And maybe we can cover those later on in the podcast. But I think it's time we bring on our special guest. What do you say?
You got it.
Let's see. Do I have
you have like a
where's my applause button? Oh no, that's not it.
Oh, that's the crickets. Oh, brother.
Don't I have applause? I thought I did. I guess
our guest can hear us and watch us, and he's probably like, good God, I'm doing this again.
All right. Okay. So Jacob, don't take this the wrong way. This is the closest I have to an applause sound effect tonight.
Oh my God. Okay, here we go. All right. Welcome.
How's it going?
Warye. Jacob, happy Warye. So there's now a happy in there. Last time, I don't think you had the happy in the name.
Yeah. So that's my call sign.
Okay. There you go.
So I usually don't drop that in much on the photo side, but it seems to a lot of people are asking about it. So
your call
throwing
sign.
it in there, but I got it within the first 2 weeks. And
wow,
at work. So yeah,
we'll have to hear the story off the record, maybe over some beers in the future.
Absolutely.
I know. I'm hoping to have a TDY to Hill probably in this next year. So
and it is tradition when on the podcast when somebody has a call sign that they have to tell the story.
Well, not on the air because
I'm just saying it's tradition.
No.
So we may have to break tradition tonight. I don't know.
No.
It's a tradition that nobody takes. Yeah, it's a tradition nobody wants to take a part of.
That's your tradition.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I've got a lot of call signs for Tony, but we won't go down that road.
Oh yeah, what are they? I want to hear.
What do you want, biscuit, fat ass?
All right.
Yeah, no, let's not do that.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Hey, so first thing I want to get out of the way, okay, is
what?
I want to congratulate you and your wife. How awesome is this? Little baby girl, Blakely, 8 pounds, 12 ounces, 22 inches long, born 4 a.m., October 30th, 2024. Congrats, brother.
Thank you. Just before Halloween. I was hoping she wasn't going to be a Halloween baby, just sort of separate.
Right.
Yes.
But
yes.
That's just me. Hopefully she appreciates that down the road. But it is surreal to be a dad, and I'm just loving every moment of it. So luckily she's sleeping right now. And
that's good.
I told Ash just get some sleep.
Hey, I was going to say, enjoy it while you can.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Throughout the show, you can hear my kids often running around, yelling, fighting, raising hell. I mean, it happens all the time. I mean, I've got older kids just like Tony does, but my wife and I, we decided we wanted to have 2 kids together. So now we've got a 6-year-old and a 2.5-year-old at home. So
dude.
The legacy continues.
Yeah.
If that happened to me at my age.
Yeah, well, at your age, for God's sakes, you're a decade older than me, brother.
Yeah.
And in 4 more days too. Oh, you can have
that's a good call sign for Tony. Tony, decade Rumfollow.
Decade.
Decade over me.
I got 5.5. A little more than 5.5. Yeah. Wow. 5.
Anyway. crazy. So anyway, yeah, I just wanted to get that right out of the box.
No, it's been
Congrats,
awesome.
man. That's cool.
I'm definitely I definitely feel like I'm back in college with the sleep deprivation.
Right.
Absolutely.
But I 100% just love every moment of it. So
Good.
hopefully she dives in head first with this stuff as well. But
once it's in your blood, it passes down generation upon generation. By the way, you think you're happy now and excited now? Wait till you're a grandpa. It's pretty amazing.
Well, it's crazy too, just because like my parents, they haven't come up and seen her yet, so we're getting everybody up here for Thanksgiving.
Oh, okay.
Just to do a smaller Thanksgiving.
Nice.
That'll be the first time that they see her in person. So
good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, they're excited, and yeah, it's just been. We've had so many people check in on us. It's nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But it's been awesome. It's been awesome. So
good. Yeah. Congrats.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Cool. So have you been able to do anything aviation wise other than work, or have you been taking some work off?
So the cool thing about both of our jobs is, with us being GS, we both get 3 months off, so paternity and maternity leave.
Wow.
So I probably won't go back full time, and full time is like 5 days a week until probably the end of March, just with all the time that I've accrued and stuff like that.
Oh, damn, good for you. That's awesome. You guys are able to be there
the end of March,
maybe that long.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I have I think a TDY pretty much scheduled, 2 in January, 1 in February, and then I think one is tentatively in March. So those are like my in a sense work days that I'll go on. But most of the work, at least starting in the first of the year, will probably be like a day of telework and a day in the office, doing like 2 days a week until that time runs out. And then the TDY, of course, coming up. So
basically, your daughter's going to be in kindergarten before you go back to work.
Yeah.
I like it.
Hey,
so I have more time to do editing and photo stuff, and I do 1 day a week of telework right now just to keep emails from piling up. But it's nice to have time to actually dedicate, aside from 99% of it being with the baby. So
totally.
But it's nice to have those.
There'll be plenty of nights where it's your turn to be up with the baby overnight, and you'll put her to sleep. She'll fall asleep, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna try to get an hour of editing in or something."
Yeah,
that's kind of how it goes, and sometimes it'll go longer, sometimes it'll be shorter, and that's how it goes. So that's good.
So it's nice to have that time off for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're gonna
he'll need it, but that's good though. It's a good need though to be there for your kids. I love all my kids. That's great.
For sure.
I just quickly wanted to ask you again. So those that don't follow you on social media, or that hadn't seen our first podcast with you, just another quick rundown. What are you up to? What got you into aviation? Obviously you do a lot of photography. Your job is in aviation. So go ahead and hit everybody with what you've got going on, man.
Yeah. So long time, just aviation, especially military, on, growing up in Air Force brats. My dad did 30 years in the Air Force. So we moved all over the place, moving every 2 to 3 years. But I think that really just sort of sparked it. Was one, just being around jets. We grew up at the academy, Air Force Academy. So like Thunderbirds were there every year. We'd go to graduation every year. So, just getting that thrill as a kid. A lot of the like football flyovers and stuff there for the football games were always pretty nuts. And I think the last podcast that I was on, that the one flyover that I remember the most was B2 with 2 117s on each side going over.
Damn,
so
that's awesome.
You just never knew what was going to be in town. But that really just sparked it. And then, I haven't dove into photography much until at least just being serious about it until probably like 2019 was when I actually like purchased camera gear and started fiddling with this stuff. Getting a lot of connections over in Pensacola just with the Blue Angels and the team. And then just building upon those friendships to open more and more doors to shoot. And then, being a GS in the Air Force, all of the people and connections that you meet across that whole, spectrum just open up doors where they're like, oh my gosh, you do photography. COVID was a big promoter of that, just in the sense of get outside, don't be stuck inside all the time. And, the Air Force was still flying every day. So
I mean, they can't stop training. They can't stop, testing. They can't, I mean, our national defense is important. Can't let something like that take
even
over.
Even though we were teleworking for, close to 2 years, really the Hueys from Rucker, they came down at least twice a week from Rucker to Destin. And so I'd link up with them and just stay busy with them. And that sort of helped progress a lot of the stuff aside from like Blue Angels. And I try to, if there's a TDY coming up, I try to integrate some form of photos or, business into it, just based off of being at a different location or, having buddies in different units. So, hopefully I got a cool opportunity with my Bone guys coming up. So hopefully have some sweet stuff, doing some stuff with them on a TDY coming up. But yeah, you just never know what'll pop up. And I try to, I mean, the 117s was a perfect example where I just pretty much cut out of work and went to Luth on a Hope. And, just so happened to have a buddy up there that, helped open some doors.
So last time you were on the podcast was August 23rd. I looked up the date of last year.
Yeah.
And
so just over a year.
I remember you talking about the F-117s in Duluth. I can't remember, were you heading up there after we did the podcast? I think it was like the following week, wasn't it? Or had you just gotten back from Duluth?
He just gotten back.
Just gotten back. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a year ago. I mean, I'm old.
Yeah, I know. We did. He did share a couple photos of the F-117 podcast. So
that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, he had gotten back from that.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, Wadman purchased one of the photos, I think, off his website while we were on the podcast or right after or something. But
that's awesome. I do remember that now.
Yeah.
That's great.
And it's been pretty wild to see, like, I started all of this off as just, a hobby and a passion, and more so for the connecting with pilots. And, they're usually the ones doing the thing, and they don't get to see the other side of the perspective. Right. So it was so cool just being able to share this side, and then them being able to have that, take home. And if they wanted to purchase a print or put something on their wall, that's just an added bonus. But to see the growth over the last 4 years has been pretty wild to just see. One, just like, I think I'm not a numbers guy from a social media standpoint, but I know that numbers matter. And so to see the following, but also just like the reach and new people, I think that's the biggest thing, is just reaching out and connecting with new people that are either interested in aviation or photography or are curious about what is out there. It's cool to just be able to provide an insight or, just express the kind of passion and stuff that I have during my, my work and stuff like that. So it's neat to be able to share that. for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially when you have some skill, because you've got some great shots, and you know how to set a photo up, you know how to edit, you know how to present it,
Yeah,
and I'm not trying to knock on other photographers out there. I mean, there's so many
there
photographers
is.
that
There's
love to
so
shoot
many.
aviation, and there's so many great ones. Um, but when you have maybe that editing edge over some other people, it always helps out, because then you just stand out a little bit more. And the
Yeah.
only way you get good at editing, and again, I'm not knocking on people that don't really spend a lot of time editing, but the only way you get good editing is you just sit down and you have to just mess with the program and
You just throw
mess
in
with
the
your
thing.
photos. It's the
Yeah.
only way,
Yeah.
Right.
And I think too, it's been really cool because like I look at some of the stuff that I had when I first started, and it's no different than like music producers when they're like, "What the hell was I trying to make?" when they
Yeah.
first started.
Oh
And
yeah.
I look at some of the photos and I'm
Yeah.
just like, okay, that looks pretty bland. Like I really don't know.
Yeah.
I think I was probably just rocking auto all the way and not actually getting into all right, how do we find something that's
Yeah.
different. And like I've told you guys before, it's more for me is the perspective.
Yeah.
I love head-on shots.
Mhm.
As you see, a bunch of those are, but I think
Yeah.
the perspective of things is what I try to shoot for. So like the B-52 one right there is a
Mhm.
cool one that
Oh yeah.
I've wanted the engines, and also to where you can see the sniper pod sneaking in between the wing.
Yeah, that's
the
sick. I love it.
the just the angle of it looks so cool, and something that grasps your eye immediately when you
Mhm.
see it,
Mhm.
versus just like, oh, in passing, oh, that looks cool.
Yeah.
I love to just look for those things in vibrant colors, and it's funny because the editing stuff, that really came with just trying to find my own style.
Yeah.
And I actually
Yeah.
I went back to Sam Martinez,
Uh-huh.
and asked him when he started doing gradient, and
Oh yeah,
asked him
okay.
how he tweaked it, because his photos
Yeah.
were some of my favorite, and he
Yeah,
sort of
he
like
was kind
helped
of the
me with it.
OG with gradient, wasn't he?
Yeah, he sort of helped me with it a little bit, and when I started doing it, I noticed that it seemed to become a more frequent, not because of me, but there was definitely a catch on
Mhm.
utilizing gradients and trying
Mhm.
to create some
Mhm.
sort of like, unique look to photos more often than I think like
Yeah.
2020, 2021. I was really doing a lot of gradients and started seeing a lot more of that. Was like, oh, okay, so I guess this
Yeah.
is catching fire from how people are wanting their photos to look or editing, and some of them look great and some of them look
Yeah.
really bad.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's just trial and error.
definitely. And I can say, and so Tony does most of Tony's coverage is video, so it's a little bit of a different
Yeah,
discussion. But as far as photography goes, I mean, there's a lot of images that when I'm editing, and I might try to play around with the grading or something, and just some photos just don't work with
it
doing that.
doesn't. Yeah. Yep.
And so you try not to force something or force what's popular on whatever you've captured.
Yeah.
Um, and
Well,
that's
and
definitely, I think,
Aaron,
anybody can.
yep.
Yeah, go ahead,
Anybody
Tony.
can take a picture, but it's the editing, and just to Aaron's credit, whenever we go down to Red Flag, we'll be out there, we'll shoot video. Aaron will be shooting, still photography. Ryan will shoot a lot of pictures on his phone so we can just immediately upload it onto social
Yeah.
media.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of Ryan is kind of he documents things,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's cool by having three of us for that.
Yep. He's like
Yeah.
the real time social media,
Yeah,
posting.
yeah,
Here we are, we're doing this.
sure.
But,
Yes, I
but
know.
to Aaron's credit, though, after a long day of editing, we'll head back to the room. We usually stay at the Cosmo because that's like the coolest hotel in Vegas. Thanks, you guys can pay me later.
Yeah.
And we'll get back to the hotel room. We're tired, and it's like Ryan and I change clothes. It's like, okay, we're gonna go drink and gamble. And then Aaron's like, okay, well, I'm going to edit a few video or a few pictures and, I'll come down and I'll see you guys later. And like 3 hours later, we'll come back. And yes, we've had too much to drink and had a lot of fun. And sometimes win a lot, sometimes lose a lot. And Aaron's just still there, just editing
away.
So it takes a lot of dedication. Hopefully
comments. My wife is watching because that is the truth, honey. She thinks I'm not partying with Tony and Ryan all the time. I'm like, honey, I'm editing photos, babe.
All right. Actually, Jessica, I'm full of shit. He's down there partying with us too. No, I'm kidding.
Whatever.
Couple quick comments. Wadman, damn straight I did. Yep. Talking about
purchasing that photo. Yeah.
Buying the photo. And then let's see. Epic Aviation 47. Awesome. Keep the good work.
Oh yeah,
there's Kyle.
He's a good dude. He was down in Japan recently.
Oh wow.
He's been posting a lot of coverage from Japan, some of those F-15s they have.
Oh,
and
wow.
he loves shooting helicopters too, so he's got a lot of cool helicopter stuff. But Kyle.
Oh, sorry. I got to have you, Joe, first. Sorry.
Okay.
Next level aviation photography content. I wish I could pull this kind of stuff off. I agree. Me too. And then Kyle Ruby, editing is life. Absolutely.
That's right. Dude, right. Kyle's nugget wraps. I know they're not called nugget wraps, but his wraps that he is putting on. Having just seen a handful of the red tail guys just get them because I knew it was happening. I just didn't know who was doing it and then like how long it was going to take. So to see like Spock and Blue,
that Spock one is badass.
Sheriff, all of those guys, I've known for going on a few years now.
Okay.
Dude, Kyle is killing it. I messaged him back and forth a bunch just about. I mean, he is absolutely rocking those things. They look so good.
I know. And did you see on his Instagram story this week, he's working on doing Navy helmet wraps now. He's testing the reflective material for the helmets. So that'll be badass too.
That's about awesome, like personalized business. That is so specifically cool.
Right? Talk about finding your niche. Your niche.
Oh,
niche, whatever you want to call it. I'm from Utah.
And it's endless.
Your niche.
It is. It is your niche,
exactly,
as opposed to your nephew. Just kidding.
Your niche and nephew.
Epic Aviation. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Old man joke.
Oh, thank you. Dad joke. Yes, that's correct. I was in Japan, and yes, helicopters are awesome. Hi, Jacob, and everyone. Keep the awesome content. Thank you so much.
What's up? What's up?
We really
thanks for watching. Yeah.
So I have to ask you, Jacob, is that an F-106 behind you on your bookshelf?
It is.
I still love
it. It's one of the. I think we found that at a flea market in Tampa.
No way,
killer!
Yeah, it was. Sick. It was all the way built minus the landing gear, and we poached some landing gear that we found in another box and stuck it together, and we got that up on the shelf.
That's cool.
The 30 mils and the Apache, and then my wife.
Yeah.
She grew up doing diecast, or not diecast, but all of the scale models and stuff. So like we literally have.
Oh really?
All of these, all of her stuff.
Oh
is
my
hanging.
Gosh.
Yeah.
That's so cool. She was into that.
Oh yeah.
Nice Tomcat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
Lots of aviation love here in the Where I family.
It's nice having a little aviation office. You know, I kind of have my own too.
I'm building on the wall. It's slowly growing.
There you go.
That 10 more things that are just awaiting frames right now.
Sure.
Kyle says, "Thanks, guys." Hey, man, you're welcome. You're awesome. And whenever you can come up for a design to wrap the RampCheck Cherokee, let me know.
The RampCheck Cherokee.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt.
By the way, when you said nugget wraps, my mind immediately went to like McDonald's.
Nugget wraps.
Nugget wraps is another brand that Scooby started, and Scooby, I think he just either sold it to new owners and is like part-time with it now, but He was doing all of those wraps for helmets initially. And I had caught like 3 or 4 of them just, in the wild. Was like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize how creative you could be, and that, some of those things were allowed. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I would imagine it took a little bit of work to get approval to wrap a $400,000 helmet with something,
I can imagine.
Because they're not messing around with F-35 helmets.
Well, yeah, and if you install the wrap any like they do on cars or window tint or anything like that, you're using soapy water. I'd be terrified to get that thing wet.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a whole technique, Kyle, and others.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Seriously, I know,
East Wind
right?
Farms. What's up, dude? Thanks for checking in. Appreciate it.
What's up?
Depending on where you're watching, send us a message. You can do so right now in real time on X, also on YouTube. Looks like most of the comments are coming in tonight on YouTube. If you're watching on X tonight.
YouTube.
They're coming from YouTube. If you're watching on X tonight, let us know that the comments are working. Just say hi. Obviously you can ask Jacob a question as well. We'd certainly love to hear from you. And we thank you guys for watching. So
cool.
Yeah.
So I have another question for you, Jacob. So as as a photographer and love doing this and connecting with pilots and crew and staff, it's always a lot of fun. And my angle, what I usually do is, I love providing photos for the actual pilot and crew, and it's kind of my way of if it's military, it's my way of thanking them for their service,
exactly,
dedication, and all that. And I'll always, just speaking of nuggets, I'll always throw a little nugget in there and just say, hey, I've got a website, I sell prints, whatever. It's not required. I'm sending you files anyway, but it just kind of supports the whole operation and supports the purchase of equipment and those type of things, because as photographers know, equipment's not cheap.
What you did for Bayo right over here on my wall, behind the collage.
Totally.
I'm sure that we'll do the same thing for
for mock,
and we've done it for other pilots.
We did it for Fast, who's up in Alaska now.
We've had a long-standing relationship with Fast because of that, and we just love it when we're at Red Flag again, and we're taking the photos, and then we get a DM on Instagram or something that says, hey, I was in this aircraft in that shot, can you send it to me? Can you print
that's
it out
so much
for
fun.
me?
That's a
love
blast.
doing that stuff. By the way, quick update from Kyle Ruby: definitely don't use water on the F-35.
Exactly. I wouldn't think so.
Not good.
I wouldn't think so either.
That's funny. But anyway, to my point, Jacob, is that kind of how you do it? Because I know photographers, and it's all about rapport and being professional, and because there are a lot of photographers that do need to work on maybe their professionalism or their people skills.
We've run into a few.
I think the biggest thing for me, so I do pretty much the same thing. That's the whole reason as to why I sort of dove into this aspect of photography. In college, when I worked at Signature Flight Support as like an aircraft refueler, a line service tech, 90% of the business that we had was all of the military, trainers from Pensacola, Columbus, and really it was more so like, hey, how can we showcase what we're doing to support them while also showing our brand as Signature, and specifically our FBO and what we're doing, because there were so many other bases and stuff that was getting that, publicity. And I was like, we get so much stuff in here. Why not start taking photos or videos and sending them to the social media rep for our company and get those things on there? And that's where that whole, operational support initiative that I started there while I was there sort of blew up. And we, like, Mobile Regional Airport Signature was on the Signature Facebook pages every week. We had something every week, whether it was an A-10 Sorshinooks, C-17s rolling in. I mean, you name it.
Nice.
So that's where like it was like, hey, here's some pictures of you guys coming in, and then also showcasing here's all the hard work that we're doing to support, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good people.
Yeah.
And so from the photography standpoint, that's sort of how it took off for me was, I wanted to give back to, these guys and gals that are coming in and flying these awesome things.
Yeah.
And just having the opportunity to get up close, meet them, connect with them and their families and provide them something that they can take home was really the basis of why I did it all. And then in expanding more so with, the Blue Angels and getting plugged into the National Naval Aviation Museum with like a line of products really sort of kickstarted that. Hey, there is that, side of the business, but sticking to like, okay, what was the basis of why we all started this?
Yeah.
Let's keep that rolling. And if there is, like you said, it's an added bonus. If someone wants to purchase a print of mine, that's awesome. It's such a cool thing that people actually want to do that. Yeah. To begin with. Yeah. Never thought it would ever, or like the patches. The patches that are made to see a patch.
Oh yeah, you see a patches.
And so it's like those kinds of things just really I think are just
there's one of your patches right there.
Yeah, I made sure to wear it.
Yeah, sure. I'm sure you did.
That one and the Embry-Riddle pencil tab. They actually just posted a huge post on LinkedIn and I think all of their social media pages.
Okay.
Doing like a quick student alumni highlight since I'm finished my master's. Literally, I'm in my last class as we speak. So,
damn, that's wild.
But yeah, but like back to what you were saying, it really is just like giving back and saying thank you. And if someone wants to, that's great. It supports, the hustle and the grind, but at the same time, it is really the connections that provide those new doors to open, and then lo and behold, you're shooting F-117s from.
By the way, I'm looking at my wall. I'm looking at my wall. Speaking of patches, I don't see one of yours on my wall, dude.
Well, I got 23 left. That's it.
We need to fix that.
He doesn't give he doesn't give that shit away. Those SIA patches, they fly off the shelf for.
They have
money.
Been going crazy.
That's awesome.
We'll make sure that's taken care of for sure.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Because
I'm hoping I have speaking of patches, 2025 I have a couple of goals just in relation to patches.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start a tail series, and I have a couple that are already in production right now, but it's specific to like aircraft tails. So like if you have a Viper tail or an Eagle tail, or whatever. But looking at specific liveries and paint jobs that represent units that one can be put into like their snackos so that they can sell them, whether they're air shows or recruiting events.
Oh, nice.
Stuff like that. So it's more of a all-inclusive kind of patch series that I'm trying to look at getting. So the Red Tails is currently the first one on the lot. So
that will be cool. What about a Nighthawk patch?
A Nighthawk patch, yeah.
Although
that big grin, he's got something already in the pipeline.
Maybe.
See that? Sorry, I didn't mean to call you out there. Couple
breaking
quick
news on the RampCheck Aviation podcast.
Avgeek Joe, happy did you get bayoed, as in the F-35 afterburner in the face?
I have a couple of times.
You have.
You lucky Rumpalus. That's right.
Generazzi says, hi, friends. Or hello, friends. What up, dude?
Up?
What's going on?
Thanks for watching tonight. And Wadman, I'll be buying another print once you get the Raider captured. Oh, my goodness. That would be amazing.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. And Kyle Ruby, I'll definitely be buying a red tail patch. See, there's one already.
Boom. Boom. I'm excited for those. I'm really excited.
That's cool. Yeah, we can't wait to see the design.
That said, Avgeek Joe says, I hear the F-35 has a pink patch.
Well, I saw F-35 demo team, and Mock was wearing like a pink undershirt under it was. I don't remember what it was for, but
Breast
and
Cancer
there was
Awareness
also
Month?
a
I'm
pink
serious.
patch that I saw. What's
Right.
that?
I said Breast Cancer Awareness Month or something like
so.
that, you know?
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I did see that that pink patch. That's cool, man. Well, hey, what else have you been up to other than, being a dad and trying to get some
so
sleep
cool.
when you can and being able to focus on a few other things?
So being a dad, finishing my master's.
Okay.
So
yeah, your master's. You just mentioned that.
Huge. I'm excited to do that.
Good for you.
So I've been doing that since January of last year. So it'll be, I'm in my last class right now, and then I probably won't go back to school again. So
Yeah.
I think I'm out. I'm good.
What's your master's thesis going to be?
So Embry-Riddle luckily doesn't require a thesis.
Oh, you just have to land an airplane or something?
Something like that. So finishing that's definitely a huge thing. Let's see, I've been straightening my teeth. So I had crooked teeth, been doing Invisalign for like the last 8 months.
Really?
Oh, nice.
So
Okay.
personal hygiene, you gotta make sure that that's all taken care of. No, in relation to aviation, let's see. Tomorrow I'm doing a Finney flight with a good buddy of mine, Dan America. He's a IP up at Rucker, and it's funny. I actually captured his first flight during COVID as a student. And he's remained at Rucker for 4 years. So it's really cool to be able to catch that. I've got the guys in Destin are all ready. The tower folks are ready, so we're gonna do some cool stuff. And I have a giant away.
Yeah, nice cat.
So yeah, I'm doing that tomorrow. That'll be
it's a live show,
guys. Get out of the house shoot. Let's see. Other than that, really, it's just I think work has been just crazy busy this year. I know last year was really busy, but like 10 to 15 TDYs is a lot for being.
Wow.
So speaking of work and TDYs and all that, give everybody, I guess, a feel of what like a typical day is if you got a busy day at work, obviously without divulging any secret information. But
I mean, can you actually tell us what you do?
Yeah.
So I'm a weapons test engineer for the Air Force.
Okay.
So pretty much all things developmental tests you can think of. So like when you think of Eglin Air Force Base, you think of tests. You think of what are we doing with weapons? Whereas Edwards, you think of what are you doing with planes? So like that's where the B-21 is the main focus at Edwards, and you got all of these aircraft related testing. That is the main focus at Edwards, whereas we are the weapons pretty much like epicenter. So and that includes anything from like working directly with Pax River and the Marines and the Navy to all of your Army cohorts and pretty much every branch that, minus like Coast Guard obviously, but any branch that's involved with developmental weapons tests, we can have a hand in it.
These are weapons specific to aircraft, fixed wing, helicopters, so it's just primarily whatever's in the air. That's primarily what you're focusing on.
Any cool Star Wars-y shit you can talk about?
I would say like Star Wars-y stuff. That would be cool. I mean, to see an X-wing or something like that come out would be nice.
I'm just talking about a laser. Can you imagine, an A-10 just shooting out a laser?
Oh man, that would be awesome.
Sharks.
Some of the cool, I would say, just sort of if you're looking for like a typical business day, as a test engineer, what we're pretty much doing is you're a glorified party planner is a great way to put it. You're planning from cradle to grave, depending on the type of program or the system that you're working with.
Okay.
If it's a good idea ferry that like the research lab, Air Force Research Lab has that you're testing for the first time, or hey, we want to do a new software load on a JDAM in this configuration. All of those kind of projects come our way. But then you also have like your conventional like legacy programs, so like your AIM-9, your AMRAAM, JASM, LRASM, like all of those things. So we do everything.
And those are constantly being tested because of upgrades and different configurations.
Yep, exactly.
On the aircraft.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, like an example is like JASM being employed off of the Sniper Pod pylon. Like that was a big deal. Because,
wow. Okay.
Those kinds of things that you're testing for a first time, it's never been done, and you have something that's been around for a long time. Especially the B1 sort of being, I think, anything like cruise missile is just the B1's like meal. Like they want to do everything related to that stuff just because it keeps them relevant. But like a lot of the systems, you really don't know what you're going to work with depending on what's coming up from a idea perspective or what the warfighter needs. If there's an urgent operational need and we have a UON that comes in that says, hey, we need this capability and we need it within 2 months or we need it within 4 weeks. I mean, those things come in and all hands go on deck to make things like that happen. If it's needed now, we do those as well. So it is a cluster of anything that you can think of from capabilities and DT test that ultimately flows into the OT side. So, I do a lot of back and forth with Nellis and Edwards and, a lot of those test units that are the primary guys that we work with. So I'm not just rolling up to Montgomery and saying, hey, let's go drop some GBUs, because it just doesn't work like that. But that's where, you're testing capabilities, software, hardware upgrades, stuff like that, and anything you can think of. So
go ahead.
Sorry, Tony, let me just ask this really quick. Is most of the air-to-air testing done over the Gulf and then like air to ground, like for say the Utah Test and Training Range or out at Nellis, the Nevada test and training range? Is that kind of how it works, or are they dropping these weapons in the ocean too?
It can be the best of both worlds. So
just kind of what's required.
It depends on, I think, a lot of the requirements for the customer. Like, hey, what does the customer want to do? Or what are the capabilities we're trying to test and the objectives that we're trying to meet, and how can we meet those? If it is more suitable to shoot this thing or drop it over land and it hit a land target or a moving target, static target, whatever.
Sure. Okay.
Then cool. If we're wanting to hit just a point in space and everything is working out to where we can utilize the water ranges, you can do that too. UTR, NITR, PMRF, all of the Point Magoo, all of those big ranges really just come down to what are the requirements that we're trying to meet. So a lot of that is why like UTR is used for exercises and NITR is used for exercises. Eglin is becoming more prevalent, or more so like the Eglin water range has always been prevalent just because you have WESUP, you have Combat Archer, Checkered Flag, that happens 3 or 4 times a year. So you're always testing things and utilizing as much space as you can, especially just with the growing capabilities and ranges and what people are trying to test. How can we get to this distance, or how can we get to this kind of delay, or hitting this type of target when it's only been going after this type of target for X amount of years. So
and what's wild is a lot of these pilots, it's the only time they're ever going to fire like a live weapon off their aircraft. That's what we get for living in the most powerful nation on the planet. That's deterrence. And you want to prevent war by having the strongest military to begin with.
Yeah.
But the men and women in uniform need to be able to use these weapons efficiently and effectively, so that we do have that deterrent.
So your role is testing existing platforms or weapons or whatever. Do you guys get involved in the development of?
Yeah, that we're involved in development.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going back to that glorified party planner. So the customer comes in, hey, we want to test this, this, and this, or we're looking at a software upgrade that adds this to this system, and we want to test this and get this fielded or whatever. So then we as the test engineers say, okay, here's the requirements. What location or range best suits that? So we're not held to like, hey, if people are coming to us and we're at Eglin, we're not held to testing at Eglin. We go anywhere that I think best suits what we're trying to accomplish. But we'll take that. We'll decide on a range or a couple of ranges to look at. Maybe do a site visit, see what the range capabilities are. If it satisfies the requirements, or if we're trying to break through in capability gaps and sort of fill those voids. Looking at those kind of obstacles and how challenging it might be at, staging out of Holloman for a test at Wismar, or staging at Hill versus staging at Dugway, stuff like that. And then we do all of the paperwork. So the whole test plan, we write the entire test plan, which has everything, all the meat of the system we're testing, the objectives, breaking it down to measures of performance, evaluation, success criteria, all of that stuff. And then we put that through a whole process where, one, the documentation has to be looked at. So you got to make sure it's good to send to the next stage of approval. So that takes, that can take a month, that could take 3 months, 5 months. But then you go through safety review board. So the test wing safety has to, recommend a risk level, test hazard assessments, stuff like that then get taken into account. And then you go to, like a test approval board, which is like your final signature to go do it. And depending on the level of risk drives the level of authority that needs to actually sign off on it. So if it's like a low risk, it can be delegated to like my squadron commander, or if it's medium risk, it goes to the group. And if it's high risk, it goes to the wing. So like the wing commander would be the one receiving.
Like a new weapon that's, I mean, there's a lot out there, and I'm not asking you to talk about specifics, but you hear a lot about and read about the AIM 260, which is supposed to just be a badass air weapon that's
to be a fly on the wall.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like something like that, I would imagine you would need some pretty high level authority for testing, because it's a new weapon, and especially like when you're testing like on something like out of F-35 or F-22, where you've got weapons bays, you've got doors to clear, you've got so I would imagine there's just crazy amount of planning.
And all of those, like you can think of JADM, you can think of JASM, you can think of all of the different iterations of JDAM, from your paveways to your like Blue 109s, Blue 136s, stuff like that. Like there's so many different little things that go into like, okay, what is the safe separation off of an aircraft? Like, have we done this for the first time? Are we doing this for the first time? Has it been employed off of this for multiple times? What does the data look like for that? If we're not changing anything from like the OML, the outer mode line, versus the internals, is that going to affect any sort of CG, based off of where it's at on the jet? All of those things get thought through from our perspective. So it's not that we're engineering, but there's a lot of like scientific kind of methodology and thought process driven decisions that have to get made to ensure that that thing is coming off of an F-22 or it's coming off of a B-1 and it's not flying back up into the jet and killing the crew.
Yeah, especially if it's on a pylon like in front of the engines, like on a B1. I mean, and you're hauling ass too in a B1. So that's critical.
Definitely.
Fascinating.
So
I didn't really know that's your gig. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit, but that's fascinating.
Yeah. So we, like I said, we handle all of it. So like all of we have, I think 5 or 6 flights in the squadron. And like one is dedicated to guns and ammo. So like they handle 30 mil testing all the way, or it's actually, they handle all the way up to 105 for like gunships, for all of their round testing. We have a couple, I think we have two GAU-8s that run through ammo to make sure that those things. Oh yeah. So we have like land mounted GAU-8s that you can stand roughly 10 feet behind steel doors, and you can watch it.
That's wicked.
Wow.
Damn.
So they do our guns flight does all of that. We have like your airborne flights, so like air to air handles all the air to air. You have air to surface handles those, and then like special programs does their stuff, and then there's a ground flight that handles like sled testing.
I want to hear about
like arena testing. So like if you're testing like the frag pattern, in a warhead, let's say on a JDAM, you can have it in a giant arena and drop it and do the height of burst detonation, and you can see the frag pattern on the display. So there's a ton of things that we are involved in from a DT perspective that are just, you never know what's coming next. So.
So cool. Oscar Sakaris. Evening Rum Bros. Congratulations, Jacob.
Thank you, Oscar. Appreciate it, man.
Oscar. Oscar hosts a podcast himself, actually.
Oh, that's
cool.
The Slaughtered podcast.
Well, thanks for watching, man. We appreciate it. AvGeek Joe, I really think we don't know what we'll be missing by starting to lose the B-1 and Supersonic Strike. Wish we'd get the F-15EX faster and multi-role instead of air-to-air. Good comment.
That's coming.
Oh,
yeah.
That's coming.
Yeah.
We got
it's coming. Right. I know they're building them, but not fast enough.
Yeah.
With all the aircraft the Air Force is retiring and pulling out, it's like, oof.
So
we need to hold off. We need to hold off on that until we can replace 1-to-1.
I know. I just saw that Osan is getting rid of their A-10s by the end of next year. So
Osan. Wow. That is wild.
Yeah.
So I know Jacob, it was sad to see A-10 Demo have their last.
I know.
Demonstration last weekend.
So Jacob, do you have any like crazy work stories that you can share with us? Because I mean, you've seen a lot of crazy shit. I know you have. Is there anything that you can share? Maybe just something humorous, something that kind of blew you away. We're like, oh, we weren't expecting that.
We had and the other, I would say really quick, the other thing to our job as well is, so we do all that test planning and all of the buildup, and then those get loaded on the jets, and then we run the mission from a control room. So like I'm on headset telling the pilots what to do. We build flight cards, we do all of that stuff. So I'm controlling the mission, working with the pilots to ensure that everything is happening on a timely basis. So like that's where SIA comes from, exactly that, because anytime we end a mission, whoever's checking off and going on to, let's say, Eglin mission, they're going back to Eglin Tower to RTB. You say like, Farmer 1, appreciate all the help. We'll see you at debrief. See ya! As hard as you can.
Nice.
And then they scream it back. So
that's the best. When you got stories to back up the things that you're doing, that's what it's about.
Yeah.
That's
how that whole patch was built. That was a napkin. I think I texted that to you guys. That was a napkin idea on a 2-week TUI that a buddy and I made. And
that's sick. I love it.
Yeah, that's just an example of that. in real time. The coolest one is we had a program that we were testing over the Gulf, and Tyndall, has the E9s for like boat surveillance and stuff like that.
Okay.
And they're sometimes really unreliable. Love the people that work down there and know them because we use them all the time. But those E9s are so old and broke sometimes that you just can't count on them to get off the ground. So instead, we phoned a friend over at Hurlburt and got a gunship to work the boat surveillance for us.
Oh my gosh, you're serious? An AC-130?
Yeah. So we had a gunship doing boat surveillance at 500 feet over the water, and
wow.
We had a couple of boats that were in like our release footprint that we needed to get out, and so they were able to kindly ask them to get out of our footprint. One by their sensors can see like the names on the boats from miles away.
Wow.
So Humpty Dumpty was the boat that was in our in our area that we needed cleared. And so we had the gunship. They were originally not going to move out of the area. And so I requested the gunship to do a couple of friendly low passes. And they got pretty low, but the boat started moving after the second one. So
yeah. Well, hopefully the boat could see the left side of the AC-130 and be like, okay, we better get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But the spooky guys, because they used spooky call sign that day.
Okay.
One of the coolest sounds was when they checked in on the radios, because you hear the props in the background versus like fighter jets and stuff. You're not hearing the engine sound much.
Right.
But when they checked in, you hear, and then they're just like as cool as can be, like almost like talking to a skeleton, like spooky 6-9 checking in, radio check. I mean, like it is just
dude.
It gives you the tingle feel.
Wow.
Where you're like, oh
man.
shit. Okay.
That's
Now we're talking. But they gave one of the coolest SIAs when they were done, just having fun on that mission. And then another I'd say fun mission was I was testing some APKWS, so like the little rockets that come out of I think like A-10s and F-16s do a lot of rocket testing and have shot a bunch of those. But if you look up APKWS, they're like small rockets, probably. I don't know. You probably find the dimensions on them, but we were testing like a new lot of them and doing it off of F-16, and weather became an issue just because Florida weather always changes here. So it'll be sunny in the morning. By noon, there you go. By noon, you see the white puffies rolling in, and it gets really dark. So you know that you're getting close to borrowed time for missions. So we had a couple of red ball issues in our jet on the ground.
Okay.
And they got those fixed, and we're sitting at EOR, and it's when Lightning Within 5 had officially went in at the base. And so Lightning Within 5, if you're already at the EOR or like taxiing and armed, you're still good to take off. If you're not, then you're not really moving. So it's like a bust to a mission. So he's my guy's sitting at the EOR. He's been sitting there for about an hour and a half working issues on the ground, gets those cleared. Weather is moving in, and it's like one of the like Texas front style weather, so full of lightning.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
And our mission time went, we had like probably 2.5 to 3 hours of time, and now we're down to like, all right, we're getting to our no later than takeoff like an hour prior, otherwise we're going to scrub the mission. The big issue was the Viper was already like close to bingo on fuel on the ground. Damn. So one, it was a D model.
Oh, okay.
So we're already less on fuel with a two-bag
Right.
D model than you are a C model.
Can't refuel in a thunderstorm.
Technically, you can't refuel in a thunderstorm.
Okay.
The wave was coming from the west. There just so happened to be a tanker sitting right over Eglin to the east. So we launched the Viper, and I think within like 10 minutes of launch, he had to be on the boom. Otherwise, he was IFE back in Eglin.
Oh my God.
So he takes off, and the funny thing in debrief was he said he was like nervous about just reaching the boom, even seeing the tanker before having to like declare IFE. He hooked up and just barely like started getting enough fuel to keep him airborne.
Oh my gosh.
Tanked within like 15 minutes of getting off the ground, slung back around. We had 30 minutes left of playtime before we had to be back on the ground. And that entire week we had great weather. We had to get, I think, 6 rockets off. And the 2 times that we took off in the previous like couple day missions, the launchers were not working. Like you'd press the pickle button and it would not shoot. So there we had to swap out the launcher and the turret and all that stuff. So after all of this, he gets up, we shoot 6 rockets in 28 minutes and land.
Wow.
And all of them hit the target.
Oh, wow.
Every single one of them.
Even better.
So
there you go.
we had a 3-hour mission that turned into 28 minutes of pure hope, and successfully satisfied all of the customer requirements who were sitting behind us in the peanut gallery watching us do this thing.
The moral of the story: make sure you have a good launcher.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we run into a lot of stuff like that. There's a handful of other missions that crazy stuff has happened, but it's just you always got to be prepared for the worst. I mean, even just hopping in the F-16 for my fam flight, you go through all of the worst case egress stuff to know exactly what I am doing in the back seat, what panels I'm switching, what knobs I'm turning, and then getting ready to punch out or how things are configured, just so that you know what's going on. So you always got to be prepared for the worst, because you never know.
And this photo was from your flight.
Yeah. So Jake Stevens, the cool thing about being a GS and also the photography world is Jake Stevens and Thomas Barley are part of our 40th flight test photog team here at Eglin.
Oh, so nice.
Barley used to be on the F-35 demo with Kip as the PA.
Okay. Oh, nice.
And then Jake Stevens was the A-10 demos PA 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
So their time was coming up.
There you go.
Hey, have you ever thought about being an aerial photog for weapons tests? And sure enough, both of them ended up being here.
That is wild.
So I try to do a little recruiting because we want the best.
Yeah, sure.
Capture these missions and get that footage in the film that we need for data analysis. But those connections open up doors, and then you end up getting buddies that are flying in your jets while you're talking to them. So it's pretty cool.
That is cool. Wow.
Wadman says, man, I need to go to work with Jacob next time I'm in Florida. I might just fly to Florida so I can go to work with Jacob.
There you go.
That's sick, yeah.
Sean's comment on here on YouTube, that's a cool one. I recently got told by him yesterday.
Sean?
From Sean Hampton.
Sean Hampton.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Sean Hampton. Hey, what's up, Sean? Thanks for checking in, dude. Sean's a good guy. A lot of great stuff.
ACC and the F-35 program office approved a grayscale shark mouth on the Moody F-35.
Oh,
so
dude,
awesome.
that's sick.
That is gonna.
Yeah, I was hoping we were gonna get like a shark mouth or something on an F-35.
Yep.
Cool.
I wonder what's that's crazy. It's wild that it just seems like the gray paints are the only things that are good. I mean, you've got some colored paint, on some F-35Bs. I think VM, who is it? FAT 501 out of
I think so.
Buford?
501 and 502, I think, have them.
They've got some really nice looking jets with the blue paint on it and everything. And Air Force really hasn't done a whole lot with the F-35A, so hopefully they can,
I'm hoping too. Like it seems to be the guard squadrons are really pushing the envelope on that, because Burlington is supposed to have. I think Burlington is after seeing Montgomery do it, which I know how hard it was, and Sean also knows how hard it was for Montgomery to be able to get red on a jet.
That's
green
cool.
on a jet would look pretty cool for Burlington.
Yeah, that would.
But just like even thinking of F-35s are going everywhere, so at this rate, like your 4th gen paint jobs are just I just don't think they're going to exist much anymore. I mean, at one point the Raptor had blue on it.
Yeah. I mean,
you never know.
Let's hope that you'll be testing a brand new multicolored paint to go on weapons and F-35s, 5th gen, 6th gen aircraft.
Skins.
You know, skins. There you go. Hey, maybe that's something for Kyle Ruby.
Well, Kyle just
start doing tail wraps in radar absorbent material.
Said we should start seeing more 35s with small touches of colors, thanks to the red tails.
That's cool.
Really checking in, so cool. Yes, thank you, Matt. Good to hear from you. Thanks for watching tonight. Another comment here from Sean. Jacksonville just got their markings approved and on contract. Can't release it yet, but it pays homage to the F-15 Thunderbolt tail.
That's sick. I like that. I like that. A couple years ago, I caught those Jacksonville F-15s up here training with the F-35s at Hill, getting ready to transition to F-35. So it was kind of cool to see those jets up here flying around with the F-35s.
Oh yeah, there's some sweet 4th gen paint jobs, man.
There are.
Enjoy them while they're here, because I even just seeing like the Marines are still trying to just paint every jet that they can before all of them are gone, like the Harriers. The Bulldogs and the Spades having jets, their CAGs actually have color on them. It's like you're just not going to see that on your.
I know. I mean, the only jets you're going to see anything like really different is like aggressors.
Yep.
But then again, most of that's 4th gen. I mean, I know the 65th aggressors have but still, it's just the different shade of gray.
Yeah.
It's not really colored, but
I know.
But yeah. Wild.
Abby Joe has a question for you. That said, Happy, serious question. How is that F-35 going to replace an A-10 for close air support?
It's a great question. I don't know if there's a lot of people up the food chain that have an idea for that. The A-10 is built for exactly what it does, and I just don't think you have. I don't think you have a true replacement for CAS. I mean, really, like even growing up with like your Ace Combat games and stuff, like your only other CAS was like an F-16 heavily loaded, and you just don't have a platform that was built to literally do that. The A-10 is not fast. It's not, but it will tear anything up.
It'll tear anything up. And go ahead, Tony.
I'm just going to say, in the A-10, it's got to be one of the only military aircraft that was actually like built to be shot at. Specifically to absorb all of that ground fire. I just love seeing those stories coming out of Desert Storm, when you see these A-10s that are just beat to hell and they still land just fine,
chewed up, and they barely made it back.
Exactly. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And the mud hen also. Kyle has a great point. I can't forget the mud hen. Definitely has a good role in CAS.
And what's crazy is our past guest and friend Sluggo, tanker pilot. He's got that great book. he was involved with some of the very first missions where the strikes were actually used for close air support.
That's right. I remember that story.
And it's a great story to actually listen to on one of the past episodes with Sluggo. But yeah, I mean, Strike Eagles, they've got the 20 millimeter gun. They can hold a shit ton of ordnance, and so that is a great point. The thing about A10 is, in this environment where you've got so much, advanced radars, surface to air missile, unfortunately, an aircraft like A10 just, unless we actually have 100% air dominance over a battlefield, you just can't send an A10 in these days,
And I don't think it's definitely not the battle that we're moving to. Everything is how far can we shoot from without actually being put into range.
Right.
So when you think about the A10 being built to literally go down range, just doesn't, that mission set doesn't exist anymore. Unless you're going into those like desolate places that don't have SAMs just sitting there.
Well, and to your point, when we had Fast on the podcast, I can't remember if it was the first or second time. It was right after the Warriors over the Wasatch. What was that? 2018, 2019?
I don't remember what year.
It was usually every other year.
And,
it got postponed during the COVID year. But they did. Part of the F-30 or part of the demo that they did was a simulated strike demo with the
like an airfield attack
scenario, with F-35s. And he's like, well, that's not really realistic because you would never see or hear us. It just looked cool for the average people looking at the jets flying over and seeing the pyrotechnics on the field, but you wouldn't see or hear the F-35, and that's its design, that's its role. And so Jetterazzi says really quick, color on an F-35 is wonderful, hoping to see more of it. Glad Belgium, Denmark, and Alabama have some color. Go Bama. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of F-35s going out there. I'm sure one of these times, people are, hell, just do it.
You gotta be getting tired of it. Come on.
Come on. Absolutely. And it's up to us photographers and av geeks out here to catch them when they do it.
Right.
So that's good.
I don't know if this would be a good color for the F-35s. That's a little obvious. What do you think? Apparently, it makes it a good target in Haiti as well. Did you see those stories, Jacob?
Yeah, that's pretty nuts.
So now there's a 30-day ban on civil flights to Haiti after Spirit Airlines was hit by gunfire. JetBlue also reported it, and there's more breaking aviation news that American Airlines also reported some gunfire. So anyway, thought that was kind of interesting.
It's a rough area.
That is such a rough area, man.
You think about too, like the other thing that even if you're just traveling out of the country, it's like, hey, what are the recommended do not travel to locations right now? And Haiti has been on that list for years.
Right.
Yeah, I'm surprised there's scheduled service still going in and out of there.
Yeah. That kind of surprised me too. I was like, oh, we fly to Haiti?
Yeah, we fly to Haiti. Jeez.
I've flown into the Dominican Republic a few times, which of course shared the island of Hispaniola, I believe. But never had the pleasure of flying over Haiti. And now I'm glad.
Right.
That was when I was in the Air Force and Air National Guard at that point. And we were doing drug interdiction, which was kind of cool. Looking for the low and slow flyers and calling them in. Got some feedback once that they actually got one, which was kind of cool on my watch.
Yeah.
Kind of excited about that. But
I've only been to Punta Cana, so
I've been to Punta Cana once. My TDY was actually Puerto Plata.
Cool.
Which was a really neat place. Lots of great people. Can cane spiders were fucking scary though.
Yeah, screw that, dude.
Seen a few of those. But I mean, basically it was sitting in a freezing radar van for 12 hours and then 24 hours off, drinking rum and cokes and sitting by the pool. And
Yep.
it was a fun TDY. I do miss that part about being in the service for sure.
Yeah.
So, oh yes, more pictures.
Hey,
please.
so I wanted to bring up Jacob's Instagram because there's some cool things here. I know we're kind of going long on time here, but there's a couple things that I wanted to go over real quick and ask a couple questions. So if you don't follow Jacob, check him out here. This is Instagram. Do you have an X account too? Do you ever post on X or
I don't.
Twitter? Okay.
I have a personal Twitter, but I haven't used it in years.
Okay, cool. There's a lot of aviation av geeks on there. You should consider getting an X account and doing that. So yeah, we've been growing our X account a little bit. It's been fun to interact. So let's see here. I'm seeing an OV10 Bronco, dude.
Oh, dude.
So tell us about that.
So that was a luck of the draw scenario.
Okay.
I knew that. So the FBO guys had let me know that there was 2 of them coming into town that week. They were doing like a veterans reunion for a bunch of OV-10 pilots and their families that from Vietnam. That the cool thing about it was they were giving like rides to the pilots and the veteran pilots and their families, wives, stuff like that, to just get a feel of like what it was like to be in the Bronco.
Wow, cool.
So that was really cool that I think they did like 19 flights out of the 2. They brought 2 down.
Wow.
And they were taking off every 25 to 30 minutes. They'd do a loop over at Hurlburt because, Hurlburt had OV-10s at one point back in the day because they were used for AFSOC. So they did a loop over Hurlburt, touch and go, and then came back to Destin and would shut down, swap out. So I went down there on my day off on the Friday that I had off, and the tower guys were like, yeah, I just got to the Destin executive, to the FBO, and they're like, yeah, they just took off and they won't be back for an hour or 2.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had scrambled up to the North FBO because it's Destin executive has like a South FBO and a North FBO. They're all the same, but just different I guess, hangars and stuff. So I went to the North because that's where they were parked. And I just walked in, and they had a lot of the like veterans and stuff sitting around eating a bunch of pizzas. And I found one of the pilots, and I was just like, hey, are you planning on flying again today? He said, I sure can. What do you got in mind?
Oh,
so I said,
damn.
okay. So, and I didn't know that he was like the head of the OV-10 squadron is what they're called.
Okay.
So that's them, the OV-10 squadron. They actually have
I was just on their Instagram page a second ago while you were talking. Yeah.
So they have 7 Broncos that they've acquired. 4 of them are completely restored and flying. And 3 of them are continuing to be restored. And so really they're trying to broaden the, hey, this is the OV-10, this is what it did, and participate in like, your Oshkosh, your Sun and Fun, veterans reunions, stuff like that, to really just, keep them alive. But yeah, so I found him and I was like, hey, the guys at the tower, very close with, they pretty much said that we can do what we want. This is what I'm thinking. So plan to have him do 3 low passes, as low as he could be. I just said, your preference. Do a low transition takeoff, left close, back around, and do 3 low passes head on. And then I'd relocate back to the FBO ramp and from the like parallel head on with the runway and get him from the side doing another low pass where he's like level with the tower. And so, so he said, sweet, I got 45 minutes of gas. And he said, I'll get you on comms. That sounds good. And so my buddy up in the tower, I had his cell phone on speed dial, and I was just like, all right, this is what we're doing. Obviously, if there's, G5s and Pipers and stuff rolling in, he's got gas, so you can hold him high and dry if you got to get guys in and out. So it worked out. We did a 25-minute shoot, and he blitzed over. I actually can throw a video on here aside from that one. That one today is the 120 frames a second slow motion.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, he
Noticed
did 3.
wearing the same hat.
Do what?
I noticed you were wearing the same hat in your.
Oh yeah. Aviator Mercantile. They were an early friend and supporter of my photography way back in 2020.
That's cool.
Nice. So, but yeah, we did 3 low passes and the final one, and then I went and showed them a couple of the iPhone videos.
Okay.
When they had parked, and they were all just hanging out by the jet, and I told them, hey, I just flew an F-16 this week. What's this thing like? How many G's can you pull in it? And they actually said without the wing tanks, you can pull 8 G's in that thing.
Oh, damn. Really? Wow.
And
that's wild.
Another cool part about it was, the Bronco, if you look at it, it has similar features of the A-10. A lot of the A-10 came from the Broncos. So they actually have a lot of translation between the 2 platforms.
Okay.
Let me see if I
get that video.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
You do this.
That's so cool. Last time I saw an A-10 Bronco, man, it was jeez.
All right, let's see if
they used to fly them in and out of Utah years and years ago. I mean, we're talking when I was a kid.
Yeah, I've only seen one on static. That's the only time I've ever seen a Bronco.
Yeah. I actually have a video from a 1992 air show out at West Jordan Municipal Airport, an OV-10 Bronco landing. So anyway,
I threw that video in there. See if you can play it.
Let me pull it up here.
So that was the other thing. So I talking to him about all this stuff, and he's like, "Well, I still got 25 minutes of gas. Do you want to go hop in the seat and go?" And I was like, "Sure, why not?" So I flew in a Viper and an OV-10 2 days apart.
That's sick, man. All within a few days. Let's see. Okay, so I think this local video, I think this one's okay, here we go.
And that's me in the back seat.
Oh, I love it.
So I had my buddy who works at the FBO, Tim, he's another local photographer, but he also works at the FBO. I just handed him my gear and was like, hey, you know how to work this? Just see if you can get some cool stuff. We're going to go fly for 25 minutes. He was like, what the hell?
That's wild.
So, and if you notice too on the tail, this one, so 418, they painted specifically in the Marines with the horseshoes, just because that's one of the most recognizable emblems that the Marines flew back in the day. And they did the full two-tone gray to make it as what it looked like when they had it in service. And then the other one has the black stallion, I think is what they call it, but it's got the red markings on the tail and the black horse and stuff like that. And that was the first one that they ever restored, and that's been I think it was at Oshkosh this year. But yeah, they got 4 of them, and it's just keeping the Bronco alive, and I
love it.
It is smooth, man. I was just like, this is crazy. And I did not call Ashley. I just told her after the fact, and she was like,
"You're just like, awesome. I'm doing it."
You're gonna do what?
This is the Friday before our child's due date.
Oh,
so I'm flying in the Bronco, and she's at home just chilling, and I was like, "Hey, I just flew in the Bronco." So here's another one. I'll put one up here.
Okay.
This is him doing I think the last flyby.
Okay.
And he was pretty low. I don't know what he was at, but he was pretty low.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, we're vertical.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see.
Oh,
I guess it is a vertical bit. I don't know why that the hey, what's up, Sundowner Studios?
Oh, wow. And he says, man, those Broncos are sexy. I agree.
Yeah.
Let me see if that doesn't work.
Software's wanting to. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, that's
weird because it worked for the 117 video that was vertical.
I know. That's so weird. I wonder.
I want to see some of your other photos that we've got up here queued up as well. So let's see. Nope. Hey, Restream.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, while we're waiting for that, I wanted to play this really quick, dude.
This is your awesome.
F-16 pass.
So that's actually me.
That is sick.
Oh.
I love it.
So
let me turn the volume up. Sorry.
The orange hat was so vivid from the back seat.
I love it. That's sick.
So
now, how did you acquire that video? Did they know you were going out there?
No. So that was a complete. Just let me throw a feeler out there.
Okay.
So that whole flight, we got lucky enough to get a quick climb. Eglin Towers being nice that day. Okay. So it was a 3-ship flight. I was in 841, our D model, one of our D models. Or one of the 85th D models that we were using joint use for the 40th that day. And then we had Ambush was when he was in one of our C models. I can't remember the tail number. It's the flagship 40th tail, and then EX3 was our third. So we had a 3-ship, and the funny thing is I didn't have any nerves or anything like that. I wasn't nervous at all. It was awesome to get fitted for gear and all of that jazz, the G suit, and I made them inflate it all the way to 9 Gs to see how that felt and all of that. So I got the whole the hill shop definitely made me appreciate and also took really good care of me. They're awesome dudes. But getting out, getting out of the brief and having our morning, our mission brief tailored to me, where all of the pilots I've flown with, I've done missions with for years. Okay. And so they looked at me and they're like, all right, Happy, this is your mission. What the hell do you want to do?
Oh, dude.
So I told them, and I flew with the Seek Eagle Commander, and then Ambush has done a bunch of missions with me before, and then Lupus and I'm forgetting who the backseater was that day in EX. Lupus did a bunch of big missions in September with me for a program of mine. But I just told them, put me through the ringer. Let's send it. But I also want to, the biggest thing for me is seeing the other side of the chair. So I'm usually telling them what to do. So now I can see wow, you guys have 50 tasks at hand. No wonder you'll respond and be stand by, legitimately, shut up, stop talking, and I will get back to you. So it was just a big eye opener of SA from the cockpit versus my cockpit in the control room and all of the different screens and parameters and stuff that we're looking at. But plan was, and it literally floated as fragged, quick climb to 15K, inverted to counteract the G's.
From sea level, that's pretty awesome.
From sea level. Then we would get wingtip formation with the three of us. And then We did our GX maneuvers. So TX maneuvers, like your transfer alignment. I think GX also tests out like to your G suit and making sure that all of those things work out. So GX, you did like 3.5 Gs to the right, and then you come back to the left, and then it was 5 Gs the next time.
Okay.
And you're parallel with another Viper. Like you can see the other Viper.
What a
view.
Like,
oh shoot. So, but we did that, and then it was individual. They split off, did some stuff for a separate couple of objectives that they had. We did single ship and threw it into full afterburner. Climbed all the way. We passed through 1.1 Mach in the vertical from 15,000 feet to 45K, and we leveled off at 45K and topped out at 1.46 Mach.
Oh, dude. That's
so
sick.
roughly like 1,100 and some odd miles an hour. And you don't feel it.
Yeah.
You don't feel it at all. But we got up there, and then we slowed down. We were reaching, the airspace boundary on the south end, probably like 150 miles off the coast. And it pulled 7 Gs down into a combat descent. So we're just going straight. He's like, all right, we're going to combat descent down to 25K. Just let me know when you're ready. Cool. All right. And then we just pitched down and pulled 7. Just like that.
Damn, dude.
And that was the most that we pulled was 7 that day. We were limited to 7.5 based off of our configuration with a sniper pod. So if you're flying with a targeting pod, you're limited to 7.5. But we pulled 7. So that was cool. And then I did not throw up. I did not pass out. Didn't have any tunnel vision.
Wow.
I've got a great Polaroid of it.
I had 4 or 5 like solid just dry heaves because of the mental just craziness in that after that combat descent. When we got to 25, I was like, all right, Bulldog, just give me like 30 seconds. And I forgot to turn off hot mic. So he thinks that I'm hurling in the back, and I'm not.
Oh, no.
And you're not. You're just like, oh.
It's just like it's just the mental. I have to get this out. I'm a puke and rally guy, so that helps. But that after those, I was like, all right, what's next? He was like, you want to fly it? I said, okay, cool. So I flew for about 12 minutes. And it was funny because after the dry heaves, I'm like it's a pressure stick. So it's not just like, the F-18s or 15s or whatever where you're moving stuff around. It's all pressure. And so I'm going just like gradually to the left, gradually back to the right after dry heaving. And he's like, all right, Happy, like, you can go a little harder than that. And so being in control, totally different feeling than not having the control. So then I was like, all right, fuck it. And I like said that over the radios. I was like, here we go. 4.5 pulled down and inverted down to the water and then coming back the other way. And I was just like, all right, we're going to have fun with this. And you're like looking up where you're going. Totally different feeling. Like
that's wild.
I'm in control. This is awesome. We're pulling like 4.5 Gs each way. So I did that for a little bit, and that was really fun. And then we set up for BFM, so dogfighting with the other Viper.
Okay.
And the initial GX maneuver of just 3.5 and 5.5 Gs. I like that was the intro for me of just like the appetizer of what the day is going to consist of. So I was like, does BFM feel similar to this? And he was just like, yeah, sure. So when we got to BFM, and it's 2 minutes of like sustaining anywhere from 3 to 6 Gs was just like crazy.
Wow.
So we started off, you could just barely see each other, started off, and then you check away. And then he called, I'm forgetting the term that he called. He called padlock. So it's like when you go back into the turn to come to the merge, and he's 500 feet above us. But man, when we got to the merge, and I'm just like, I'm looking up and I'm like, phew, he goes by, and we instantly turned to this like we're on the offense trying to get him, and we're going upside down, falling towards like the ocean for probably like a minute and a half full of just G pulling. And that was just like, you felt like you ran a triathlon after 60 minutes of flying.
Oh man, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's no wonder these pilots are in such good shape, because they have to be.
Yeah. So we did that. We did the one round of BFM, and I was like, all right, I'm good with BFM. That was a great experience. I'll do it again another day. Let's go low. So we shot down from 19K down to 500 feet. And we found that first boat as we got down to 500 feet. And when we got the boat just off the left side of our nose is when we went into almost like a minimum radius turn, as much as we could, about 85 degrees of bank. And we were slowly going down to 200 feet. So we went from 500 to 300 to 200 and held the turn. And when we were coming out of that turn is when they were recording.
Okay.
But the orange hat, I was like, orange hat, that is the guy. So we did that around a couple of boats, and then after that climbed to 6K RTB. Our mission time was done. We had hit bingo by then, so it worked out perfectly. But I put a feeler out to the Destin Offshore Charter Facebook group, which has like 25,000 people in there.
Oh,
I was like, hey, if anybody got buzzed by a fighter jet this morning around 8:45, please send me the video. And sure enough, like 2 hours later, I had that video came in from Anthony, who's one of the local charter guys. And he was like, dude, you guys were awesome. So that was so cool to see that, because I didn't have I have GoPro footage of the whole flight, but it's not publicly releasable.
Yeah.
So I have that for keepsake. But and then all the photos and stuff that Jake took of me that day.
Yeah.
But the GoPro footage definitely shows, like in the climb, the quick climb, when we pulled like, I think we pulled like 5.5 or 6 G's on he pulled it as hard as he could back.
Right. Wow.
And just like, and then I'm like, oh, there's Crab Island. We're inverted. Oh my God. This is actually real. And it was just amazing how fast things were flying by you when you feel the burner.
Yeah.
Like when you went from mill power to burner, it was just like, it throws you back into the seat. And then you're at 400 knots in like 6 seconds. Gear's already up, and you're just like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going into light speed right now. It was the biggest adrenaline rush of my life. So
awesome experience, man.
I'm trying currently. So that's another cool, thing about our job is it allows us, if we get those kinds of opportunities, it allows us to get, airtime, whether it's on C-130s, gunships. Like from a test perspective, it's awesome essay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I'm working on a Eagle flight for next year.
Cool.
And then I'm talking my Bone brethren into a Bone flight. So we'll see how that goes.
Wow. Dude.
It was a topic of conversation at dinner this summer when we were all TDY together. So hopefully,
that's cool, man. Yeah.
Hopefully
it works out for you.
Their commander is really, really good. And speaking of Bones, I'm really, really hoping for. I'm working a lot of stuff right now for the Pensacola Beach show.
Okay.
Getting more noisemakers into the mix.
Oh.
So I think we're going to bring back, after 15 years, we're going to have maybe 2 B1s.
Oh.
No
and when is that scheduled? When's that show scheduled?
I think it's always the second week of July, so the weekend after July 4th.
Hey, Jacob, do you happen to have an extra room?
An extra room?
Wink, wink.
If I lived in Pensacola, if I lived there, the hotel prices are nuts right now. It's like $700 a room.
Oh yeah,
right there on the beach. It's stupid. So
worth every penny, though.
It is. Yeah. It is. Yeah, I'm trying to get some some like Eagle lineage. So do like EXs, Strike Eagles, and C models as much as they last. I think they're probably gone here shortly in the next year or two. At least the ones that we have. Do some Eagle lineage, Bones, and then Biomilitia wants to play, and the Red Tails.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So,
God, I almost caught Biomilitia at Pacific Air Show, but man, that show, I went to it
last year. The fog. I went on the one day that they did not have storms, and that sea fog. I mean, we deal with that when we're TDY out in that area, and it is awful.
Oh, it was bad. All 3 days I was there. I mean, Thunderbirds only flew one show, and it was Friday, and I was able to catch some of that because the fog just kind of cleared out a little bit. But other than that,
and those are the best for vapor and all. I mean,
oh,
you're like,
hell yeah,
on,
dude, hell yeah, absolutely. I mean, Rhino demo got one full demo in, and Thunderbirds got one full demo in all weekend, and that's it. You know, F-22 did a couple passes. I mean, but it was like, I don't know. Anyway, we don't have to go down that road again. That was, you know, I think I'm always going to have PTSD from as far as air show.
He's going to be bitter for sure. Hey, Jake, before we let you go, we just want to bring up your website one more time, so people could see it. It's and I think I put the link in the chat.
Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, it was in the chat. You can throw it in there again if you want to, just so people can click on that again. So it's right there in the chat for you to take a look at. Go to his website, check out some of his stuff. This is just the new release page. All the other stuff too is just click the all collections button. You'll be there for a little while. Some amazing photography in there.
There's a lot of stuff. I know. I'm trying to clean it up, but that's one of the other goals that I have is clean it up so it looks nice and presentable. But
it's just it's tough. I know what it's like managing several websites, so I know what you're going through.
I have to say, I think this is my favorite one right here.
Yeah, that buff shot's badass.
Keep an eye out for a buff shot in January's Aviation magazine coming up.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Okay. Awesome.
We'll have something like that coming out. So, and then the Sea patches, man. Get one while you can.
Yeah. I've still got some space on my wall. I need to get one from you, buddy.
I know.
We can make that happen.
I know.
I love it.
Happy
Joe says, thanks, Happy, for coming on down. We appreciate you too for watching. Oh, before we go though, I wanted to ask. So we've got two pretty awesome aviation photographers on the stream tonight. Of course, we got Happy with us, Jacob, and then Aaron. Yeah, you've taken a few good pictures. Want to get your feedback on that.
What's that? What do you mean?
It's a twofer.
Oh, you've got a crossover there. One at altitude and one departing.
That's cool.
So this was actually taken by my girlfriend. This is like her first airplane picture she's ever sent.
Oh, really?
I was like, hey, you got an eye for this. You need to keep doing it.
Pro move.
Right? Luck of the draw. Anyway.
That's right. That's right. Funny. Well, it's in focus and it's somewhat close, so that's good. Good framing. There you go.
Not too bad. She didn't even know there was another plane in it until she looked at it after the picture. She's like, "What's?"
That's usually how it goes.
Yeah. That's exactly. Especially if you're shooting stuff like Nellis or whatever. You know, you've got Vegas in the background, and you've got all kinds of aircraft going into like LAX at altitude flying over.
Well, I can't wait to shoot some more bone departures at night with the Vegas skyline in the background, seeing that afterburner, getting it in slow motion, stabilizing the shit out of that. Anyway, yeah, that's.
I'm hoping my trip to Dias brings a lot of juicy stuff. The guys are all for it.
Are they going to a red flag this year at all? Do you know?
I don't know if the 337th is going. That's the test guys that we work with.
Okay.
The other guys, I want to say, like, I know the Gray Flag just had a bunch of participation from Bones.
Okay.
But I would imagine Red Flag probably has at least Ellsworth once and Dias once for sure.
Yeah, they usually, they
Usually who we see,
they
actually.
kind of staggered. I saw my first Red Flag 25-1 patch, and it was
I
it
saw
was
that. That was
the UK
awesome.
Voyager patch. Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that was sick. Yeah, so and it was the Typhoon and the Voyager or something on the patch, wasn't it?
Yeah, they had like poker chips in the Vegas time.
Yeah.
So that's a cool one for sure.
Yeah, that is a good one. So we're getting the UK participation at least.
Good.
For the first one. But anyway, hey man, great conversation, dude. It was so great. Great having you on again and catching up.
Thank you as always, man.
Yeah.
You know,
always good to chop it up.
This is why we love doing it, man. Just sitting down with like-minded av geeks and hearing, your little slice in aviation and everything you do, and this has been great.
Before we go really quick, we got to throw a couple of these up there.
Oh yeah.
My God.
I know. Look at that. That's
so I asked that was another just like you gotta just take a shot, pun intended.
Yeah.
The FBO, so like that whole week, the FBO had I think a couple of people that had come out and been asking about photos and stuff. I walked in there one day and was just like, hey, so I've traveled all the way from Florida. I don't expect, can I just chill in the FBO to edit some photos? I'm here for the 117s because they obviously knew that the 117s were very, very popular.
Yeah.
And
oh, totally, dude.
Their whole staff at Monaco Air was just awesome. But their like GM there was like, dude, these I showed him a couple of photos and stuff like that, and he was like, man, these are awesome. He said, when they're flying, just text me and I'll bring you out to wherever you want to go on the ramp. And I was like, okay, sweet. I had the sortie times for these guys. And so I was like, hey, they're planning on doing this, this, and this. And I think they're going to taxi around this time or they're going to return this way. And so that was all of them taxiing after landing. They would taxi directly back to the guard base, but they always went down the taxiway that lined with the FBO. So that's at the hold short line as he's getting closer. And then when he got like within arm's reach, I mean, he was probably like 10, 15 feet away.
Sick.
Wow.
Unbelievable. Oh, I hope to catch some F-117s before they actually finally get, retire them 100%.
Right.
I don't think they'll be going away anytime soon.
I don't think so either. So I'm really crossing my fingers soon. Yeah, look at that. There you go.
That was from this summer. That was a good one.
Was it? Was it? Okay.
I was like, I got to get something different because they ended the show the Friday practice day and they didn't have smoke. And so I was like, all right, well, maybe they'll have smoke on the second day. So
very cool.
Wow. Jeez, that was
got to get out
framed. Did they do that for you?
No, that was selfie magic, man.
There you go.
Amazing selfie magic. Let's see.
Years of practice.
That's too funny. All right, so a couple more quick chats, and then we'll let you go. Holy shit, it's almost 9:00. Wow, 2 hours. That's great. We could do this for 2 more hours too. That's the fun thing about it.
I know.
Hey,
easy.
Quick question. And my pictures are what exactly? Be honest. This is from Av Geek Joe. We think your pictures are great. And he says that damn photo's nice. Well, thank you. Sean Hampton, see ya.
See ya.
Love it.
Thanks a lot, Sean. We appreciate you watching tonight. Sundowner Studios, great podcast, guys. Happy to see a face to the name.
There you go.
Very good. We appreciate you watching. And last chat for the evening. I love having that print. So that's the one Wadman bought. Okay. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think he got one of those frames. I forget which. Those last two that I recently put out were new edits, but
Yeah.
Just a different part of the sequence of the jet taxi.
Yeah, sure.
Pretty amazing.
I've only had I think minus my buddy purchased a handful of those. Matt, I think, is one of the only few that has gotten some of those prints. So
cool.
They're not high demand prints, but they look
well.
good.
Unless you're like really focused in on aviation,
On like
exactly.
Yeah, I might have to order that from you, but only if you'll sign it for me. Would you do that?
I'll sign it.
Okay. Awesome. I love it.
That's right. Sick. All right. Well, yeah.
Jacob Warye, everybody. Man, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
And
yeah, we hope to see you sometime again soon.
Let's not make
a red flag, or maybe when you come up to Hill or something. We'd love.
Or maybe when we meet in Pensacola.
There you go.
That'd be fun too.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's it. I think after the last couple of years, it's definitely been noticeable of we need some more noisemakers. So I'm working some magic to try and get a show starter and a lot of fillers between civilian acts, because there's a lot of time that passes from 11 to 2 when the blues fly, and I'm like, oh my gosh, even just being out there in the sun for 4 or 5 hours, it's like I need to have something else to look at. So
100%, dude. Awesome.
But a bone at 300 feet would be pretty cool.
Hell yeah, it would.
Right there.
Get a nice huge ass vape cone.
That would be amazing.
So
cool. All right. Well, yeah. Again, thank you, Jacob, and best to your wife and your new baby girl.
Congratulations once again.
Thank you, guys.
For sure.
Thank you.
And so make sure you head over to his website, and don't forget it's a live show every Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. X, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, and what am I forgetting? Pretty much it, right? Oh,
that's pretty much it.
Ramp Swag store, really quick. All right.
Yeah, just real quick. Been adding some new stuff. Got a bunch of new remove before flight stuff up there.
I like it.
But a bunch of new designs.
Scroll back up. Right there, the gray one on the right. Long sleeve.
This one?
Yep.
Oh yeah. So this is a new design I was kind of playing around with. It's along the back of the shirt, and it says U.S. Air Force Bomber Fleet, America's backbone of freedom.
All right. That's my new t-shirt right there.
That's awesome.
Yep. B1, B2, B21, B52, baby.
All right. RampCheck swoosh on the front, maybe?
Yeah.
Okay.
It does. I'll show you. Okay. Stand by. It's got the let's see. So there's the right
oh
there.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I need one of those before we hit red flag, please.
Absolutely. And these I'll show you these really quick. The bone one's probably my favorite. But anyway, this is freedom through superior air power.
Love it.
You got the bone, and then you've got the kind of nose-on shot with the U.S. Air Force on the front, and then our mark on the left sleeve. So anyway, got some cool new stuff up on the Ramp Swag store. So
and Christmas is going to be here before you know it, and you know how reliable the USPS, UPS, FedEx, all those shipping companies are. Get on there. Order gifts for your favorite AvGeek right now. Christmas will be here before you know it. Just saying.
There you go.
Yes.
All right, cool. All right. Well, I'd say with that, we can wrap up the episode tonight.
Okay. Sounds good, everybody. We'll see you next week, Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, right here, wherever you're watching. Please share the show. Follow us on YouTube, and, make sure that you... what am I trying to say? Follow us.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Subscribe. Yes. And check out all of our other awesome content while you're there. Please. Appreciate it. Sorry.
Right.
Squirrel.
Yeah. You're good.
All right. Okay. All right. Have a great night, everybody. I'm Tony.
I'm Aaron.
I'm happy.
Jake. And happy. There you go.
All right. See you guys.
See ya.
Later.